Hi, I'm Joe. Welcome back. This is the Ultimate Love Letter. Thank you for joining the conversation. I want to ask you if this combo is for you. Have you recently found yourself in a position where you have lost a friend or a family member? And when I mean lost, I mean they have left your life, and perhaps they left your life in a way which has left you feeling like you were the reason they left. I want to tell you, if that is you, you're right. You are the reason they left. And it wasn't because you did anything wrong, but rather you did everything right. I felt led to just share the encouragement that most of the time those that are around us can't offer us because they can't see it with their third eye. They can't see it from a spiritual realm, but I can. So I'm here to encourage you. If you have recently lost a family member who has left your life saying you're the problem, they can't be around you. If you have recently lost a friend that just seems like they've ghosted you, they're not returning your call. Perhaps you've lost a lover that has done the same. Understand spiritual growth. If you have been making the changes, and chances are, if you are here today, if you have found Tull, whether it's YouTube or any of the streaming platforms, I imagine you have been doing some spiritual healing. And as we continue to grow, we will continue to ascend. And as we ascend, the only ones that will ascend with us are those that are doing similar work. And I'm here to tell you, the majority are not doing it. The majority are actually avoiding it. So yes, it's gonna look like friends that leave. And it's gonna look like you are the reason. And the truth is, you are the reason, but for all the right reasons. If you have found yourself possibly questioning the thought of what you could have done different to keep these friends in your life, what you could have said differently to not offend that family member, how you could have been different to keep that lover around, consider this truth. There could not have been anything that you could have done different. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it alignment with what you are truly deserving of. Or another way to say it, misalignment with those individuals who have fallen out of your life. I know it looks like possibly something you did to cause them to leave. And I know that usually we often go towards looking at it in a negative way, right? Like if I wouldn't just not have spoken my truth, or if I wouldn't have been that bold, or had I not just asked that question, then perhaps they would have been here. Well, then perhaps you're suggesting you shouldn't be growing. When we say and move with things according to the growth that we are stepping in on, that will look like spiritual boldness. That will look like spiritual truth. And I know that it might look like it's offending others, but what's really happening on the surface is people are falling off because you have ascended to a new frequency. And the only ones that can go are those that are also on that frequency. I recently had a couple of friends that have left me years ago. One, like 5 years ago, it felt like now, and the other a couple years back. And I know because I've been in these full circle moments, I now know that when people are falling out of my life, I know, yes, I am the cause. And the cause is all this spiritual healing that I'm doing that they are refusing to do. And so I know as I release them and I let them go and I love them from a distance, I know that they will be replaced with more aligned, more loving people that exist on the frequency that I have ascended to. But here's the thing. I think we're not really talking about the full circle moments. Like, yes, if we have come to a place where we are comfortable now loving people from afar, letting them go with grace, I'm here to tell you, God has the power to heal it all as you release these relationships in grace, as you trust God to remove those that are misaligned with you and to replace them with those that are better aligned with who you are becoming, who you have become. God can, and often does reward you with a full circle moment. In a matter of 48 hours, I received phone calls from 2 friends that had called to say, Joe, I apologize. And here's the thing. Quite honestly, I hadn't thought about either one of these people because that's just the truth. I have gone on with my life. I have been filled and blessed with other girlfriends, beautiful friendships that have come. And my time, my moment, my thoughts are occupied with the loving, aligned relationships that God has given me. So I'm no longer thinking about the couple friends that have fallen off. Yes, I know when it first happened, sure, possibly I was thinking, you know what, that sucks that they're not returning my call. It sucks that, they're not speaking to me. But really, as we grow, we learn to not ponder there. We learn to trust the process, if you will, of people going away. And as we trust the process, you kind of don't think about it. You kind of are living more magical, more ascended moments. But what I find that is so interesting is that on both calls that I received, they were both saying the same thing differently. They were saying, I am sorry, which really, I didn't need any apology. I was wondering, what are you sorry for? Like, I'm thinking to myself, you went your way, I went my way. Life has been beautiful over here. What are you apologizing for? And in both situations, both of them, they were saying, I have held on so much resentment for you. In other words, they were saying, and one actually said it, I was a hater. I resented you. And this is what it looks like when we talk about those that drink poison and expect the other one to die. These 2 friends were holding on to this pain, this hurt, this resentment of something they thought I did to them. And they held it for many years. Essentially, it was eating away at their life. It stunted their growth spiritually. It prevented other beautiful friendships to enter their life. They were just consumed in the darkness of hating me. For what? Like, I actually, at both of them, I giggled. Like, wow, resented? Like, don't apologize. I didn't even ask for an explanation because I didn't need one. I didn't care to have one. I know what it is. It was hate. It was things that were made up in their mind that they thought were real. But when you look at it on the surface, it was nothing but the divine, the healing or lack thereof that separate us. It was nothing I did other than I healed myself. So then you didn't, or perhaps you did slower at a slower rate than I did, and so we separated. There was no malice there. It was all love. From my end, I'm thinking it was all love. It was all beautiful. It was all in the name of spiritual growth. On their end, from their perspective, and I don't know, because I didn't ask, like, what hate or what anger were you holding on to? I didn't ask because it wasn't any of my business. I know the life that I was living. I know that I live a life of integrity and intention. And I know that it was never, and it has never been, a thought that I would move with malice. So I didn't need any clarity on what their perception was. Their perception of me was a reflection of them, unable to do the work. And that was really the meat of why the friendship ended when it did. But here it is, two friends that have been long lost for many years reached me in the same weekend, both to say the same thing. I am sorry. I've held on to this anger. And I love you. And essentially they were saying, I want to know what's up. Like, can we do this again? If that is you, if you're dealing with people who have exited your life recently, I want to just encourage you, try to look at it from a spiritual perspective. What wounds have you been facing? What ways have you been changing your life? What habits have you been cultivating that make you a different person? Can you consider for a moment that is the reason the relationship ended? I know that it may look like something you said. I know it may look like you moved from a different city to someplace else. I know it may look like whatever it looks like in reality, but on a deeper level, on a spiritual level, in the spiritual arena, what really is going on is perhaps you've ascended and they are not. And so they can't go where you're going, not at the moment. So if you're dealing with any guilt of anyone who has exited your life, I want to ask you right now if you can release it in grace. If you can release it with the knowing that it is all in divine order. And it doesn't mean that because there was a goodbye now that it can't come full circle in the future. If you release it now in just loving grace, I am living proof of things coming to full circle. When you least expect it, you'll be getting calls saying, I am sorry. And you too will possibly be saying, I don't need an apology. It was all good. I'm sorry you were living in that poison. I'm sorry that you were living in that darkness. I have compassion for you that you have held on to something and refused to let it go year over year, essentially stunting your own growth. Allow me to extend my compassion to you. Let that friend go. Let that lover go. Let that family member go. Give them love, give them grace, give them your prayers, and move on in complete confidence that all the spiritual work you are doing is working. All the spiritual work that you are doing is ascending you. You may not see it, but they see it. And you are planting the seeds. Those that think that no one's watching, oh no, I'm here to tell you, they are watching. You wouldn't believe when I meet up with people that I haven't seen through the years. It's crazy. It's almost like they're fans. Like, Joe, I see you traveling. Joe, I see you doing your thing. I'm just thinking I'm just living. I'm just living. I'm just posting love. I'm just talking about the things that I love, God and travel and harmony and animals and the world and healing and spiritual things. I'm just putting out what I love, and it is rippling. It is touching so many. And when you least expect it, those who you thought were not watching, those who you thought were offended by what you said, those who you thought left your life because you weren't good enough will be coming back saying, oh no, you were actually the best. And it was me that owes you an apology. And really, they don't owe you an apology. In my opinion, I never need anyone to apologize to me for whatever grief that they've held on to when they've exited my life. I don't need it. You can keep it. You have my compassion instead. You have my love. I'm sorry you dealt with that. I'm sorry you held on to that. Now that you're here, you know something different. Let's move forward. Keep the apology. It was never necessary. Doesn't mean you won't get it though. That's just full circle. That's just how God works. That is God's healing powers. I just want to leave you with that. I thought I needed to get out here and just give a quick encouragement to anyone who may be dealing with the exit of someone special in their life. Let them go. Give them love. Give them grace. Until next time, love yourself and love others. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.